First up this evening, we have one of our legislative representatives, Kathleen James, to give us an update on the happenings in Montpelier. So it's all yours.
Great. Well, thanks for having me. I was going to start out briefly by talking a little bit about some of the bills that my committee's been working on. And I can just give you guys the high points because their fate is unclear. They've all moved over to the Senate. But I serve on House Education, and in the past couple weeks, we passed out three pretty significant bills. One would strengthen literacy instruction across the state, especially for grades pre-K through 3. The second bill is a pilot or a grant pilot demonstration program for a grant project called Community Schools, which is a bill that I sponsored. And then we have, and Andrew and I did a GNAT interview on that, which was kind of fun, on the community schools concept. And then we also passed out a school construction bill that would, among other things, do a statewide assessment on the kind of state of our school buildings so that we can start getting a handle on capital needs. So those are the three big education bills that are currently being sort of, deliberated and kicked around in the Senate. And we'll see what becomes of those. In addition, way far beyond my committee, the House has passed its version of the FY22 state budget, which is sort of the main project that we all band together to work on. And that has also moved over to the Senate and is being deliberated on now. Right now, we're looking at a target adjournment date of May 22nd. And as folks know, when the budget is done and passed by both the House and the Senate, we adjourn. So that's sort of the timeline there. We're looking at however many weeks that is, 3-4 weeks until we wrap up the budget and adjourn. We have talked very kind of vaguely about whether we might have to come back in the fall for a very brief special session to talk about the federal ARPA funds. And I'd say that's a complete unknown at this point, whether the legislature is going to feel like it needs to reconvene for a week or two to, sort of weigh in on those federal dollars. But the main thing I wanted to talk about tonight was the federal dollars. So I don't know if you all have, attended any webinars or workshops or anything yet. But the American Rescue Plan Act, which was the big latest federal stimulus program passed by Congress, contains a pretty significant amount of money that's going to be coming direct to municipalities. And so Seth and I have, as members of the Rural Economic Development Working Group, we've attended some, preliminary workshops on this. And then we got together today with Karen Horn of the Vermont League of Cities and Towns to talk about it today, so I'd be a little bit more informed to talk to you guys tonight. So the funds that are going to be coming directly to municipalities are going to be about $99 per capita. On top of that, counties are going to get an additional slug of fund at $199 per capita. And it's not quite clear yet how the money that'll come to Bennington County will get sorted out between the towns. From my understanding, the formula that they have built in to the bill at the federal level is mostly targeted at states that have county level government, and Vermont doesn't. So all of our municipalities will be in line to get their $99 per capita, roughly, coming directly to the town, plus some portion of your county money. So the money should be in the local bank by June 9th, that first hit of the direct aid, and then the second tranche will come at the end of December. So it's a little complicated, but to explain it in a clear way, the $99 per capita that's coming straight to municipalities, that's going to come in 2 slugs, in June and in December. Then there's that money coming to Bennington County that's going to get divided up between all the municipalities, and nobody seems to know yet how they're going to divide it, or whether that'll come in 2 hits or where that's going to come, but that'll be on top of. The money can be used. At this point, all we have are the broadest of guidelines. But in general, the funds can be used for providing additional pay to essential workers, which really isn't quite defined yet at this point, who essential workers are, but that would be essential municipal workers, we assume. It can be used, and this is the very popular item, for broadband, water, and sewer capital projects. But again, these are very broad buckets. We're still waiting on more specific guidance. There are going to be some other categories as well, but those are the first 2 big ones that towns can use their money for. Let's see here. You have until the end of 2024 to spend it. And these dollars are going to be among the most flexible that are flowing through the federal government. And so what they're advising towns to do is to put it in a separate bank account or a separate distinguished fund, leave it there for a little bit. And first of all, see whether you can draw down from some of the other federal funds that are coming to the state. Like, for example, the legislature right now is working on a big broadband bill. So maybe there are funds, maybe there's money from that Sunderland, for example, could tap into first, or that the Southern Vermont CUD could tap into first. And when those more restricted funds are exhausted, you've got your ARPA dollars sitting in the bank waiting for that broader final use, since you do have until the end of 2024. I asked about a revolving loan fund, whether these funds could be used to put into a revolving loan fund that could keep kind of feeding in the long term. That's not clear yet. Let's see. And the reporting will be to the state. So there's going to be some kind of portal at the state level that will provide you with monitoring details, guidance, and that's going to be where you're going to report on the use of your funds to make sure they're in compliance. And like as with all of these federal stimulus funds, you're going to want to be very sure that whatever you're using it for is in compliance. Otherwise, the federal government at some point down the road could do an audit and decide you spent it improperly and claw it back. That's what I know right now. If you've been, following along this session, you know that there's some pretty big money moving in bills for broadband. Mostly right now to help out our CUDs. And so it's really awesome that Bennington County has the Southern Vermont CUD up and running. There's a very big child care bill that's in the works. There's rental assistance, landlord assistance. We're going to be getting out more funds to support businesses. So there's a lot of federal money in play. And right now, it's a little bit hard to follow because it's bouncing around in the legislature, sort of, between H315, which was kind of a mini relief bill that we already passed and the governor signed. Some funds are in that. A lot of this federal money is contained in the budget. And of course, Governor Scott, and his administration are also weighing in with their priorities for how they'd like to see the funds invested. I think the good news there is that there's a lot of really broad agreement between Governor Scott and the legislature, and I think a lot of Vermonters, about what some of these priorities are. Childcare, affordable housing, broadband. I don't think there's a whole lot of argument about some of those investments. I think that's my ARPA report.